If you come at the king, you best not miss.
Acknowledge us.
Hey, it's the Turnbuckle King here. Red Carpet Ring. We are here to talk about WWE NXT The Bloodline Women's Tag Team title match and invasion. We are here at the ring tonight. We're here to talk about the recent episode of WWE NXT, and this is the NXT for September 10th. Let's tune in. Thank you all for coming out. Now, of course, we hear live from as well as YouTube, Facebook, and X. So let's get the likes up here and over there. But before we do begin, you guys already know what you got to do before we begin, and we'll get to everything else. Let's just do one simple thing before we get into that, and that is very, very simple of what to do. In a simple
Welcome to the button. A speed.
Acts like a sucker. Oh boy. More spinning. What's it gonna be? Uh-oh. What?
Yes. So we had tapped the screen, but we're here on the platforms as well. And of course, we got the bonus round of, Trick Willie, become a two-time NXT champion. Don't want to miss out on that. And of course, we also gonna go over the episode of NXT, the events, and also go over what went wrong before we do get further into that. But before we do get further, let's see who came to the ring in the beginning. We got Figure 4 TV, great wrestling channel. Check them out. Always talking about the historic history of wrestling from the Golden Age era. Check that out with him. And we also have CeeLo Myers in the building. Salute to him as well. Another longtime supporter of the Turnbuckle King on all my channels. I appreciate you, CeeLo Myers. Thank you. Greatly appreciate that. But other than that, though, guys, we are going to dive into more about NXT. And NXT here, before we get into it, we're going to talk about the match card. Let's see what match card was advertised before we get into the whole NXT episode. This is the NXT card that's advertised. Now we got Trick Williams versus Pete Dunne in a last man standing match. And whoever won this match will be considered the number one contender for Ethan Page NXT Championship. Then we have Giulia versus Chelsea Green card. But anyway, we got that. We got Jordan Grace, TNA Knockouts champion. She had an open challenge for a championship. And also we had the opening match of, originally it was Nathan and Axiom Frazer versus the Rascalz, but Trey Miguel reportedly had an injury. And now the match has been changed to, now it's Street Profits. So we have the return of Street Profits on here. But other than that, though, let's get into that. And let's go over again of each match. Let's see how it turned out. Let's see the results here. Now, to begin, of course, we do have NXT Tag Team Championships. We had the match Street Profits. It was the return of the Street Profits. We know they have been NXT for a while, for years. I think yesterday I got called to the main roster, so the crowd was welcoming them back with open arms. Then, of course, we had champions come out, Nathan, Frazer, Axiom. But this was a solid match, very solid match. But we never, ever got a chance to get a finish of that. As you can see in the title, we had invasion from SmackDown Superstars. And this superstar is a very popular stable, no other than SmackDown. We had the Bloodline. They came in, wreaked havoc. They attacked both teams, Street Profits and the NXT Tag Team Champions, and Axiom and Nathan Frazer. and they just cleaned house. It was Tongaloa, Tamatonga, and of course the enforcer Jacob Fatu. And no Solo, and we know that they said backstage that they was ordered to uh, go to NXT and do their thing. Jacob Fatu said it, but it was definitely wild, and I was not expecting NXT to show up with having Bloodline there. We expect NXT to have a great match, but the last people we expect to show up on NXT was the Bloodline, so this was definitely a yeet moment.
Yeet.
Definitely amazing. Definitely amazing. Samoan, what's going on to you, production? Salute. But yeah, it was the opening match. So the match ended in disqualification. Now, with that being said, since match and disqualification, unless there was a stipulation otherwise, yes, winner and still tag team champions of NXT, Nathan, Frazer, and Axiom, they retained their championships because it ended in the DQ. No pinfall, no submission. So that was the end of that opening match on NXT because they brought the fire. Definitely brought the fire. Great way to kick off NXT on Tuesday. Next match, we had Giulia versus Chelsea Green. Now, you know that Giulia attacked Chelsea Green last week before Giulia confronted Roxanne about her NXT Women's Championship. Now, they scheduled a one-on-one match. This was a solid match. We really got this is the first match we saw of Giulia in NXT. This is her debut match on NXT. Now, I said that I figured you could tell that she was nervous. You could tell that Giulia was kind of not used to this kind of crowd with NXT. She's so used to Japan. And Chelsea Green did her best to put, Giulia over. I know one spot, Giulia did a neck breaker to Chelsea Green on the ring to the apron, and it looked like Chelsea sold it real well. Some people like, man, she hit it too hard. But other than that, it was okay match. And yes, Giulia won the match. Giulia's winner. So, like I said, I didn't expect no 5-star match, a classic. They're going to say that for Giulia versus Roxanne when it comes to the NXT Women's Championship on October 1st debut of CW. So I didn't expect nothing different, but definitely something solid. You said Street Profits would have won, probably, but they didn't need to win. They really want the WWE Tag Team Championships that the Bloodline hold. But good match for Chelsea and Giulia. Giulia's debut on NXT. Next up, we got the Heritage Cup Championship. We got Charlie Dempsey versus Javon Evans. Javon Evans, the match was set by Ren St. Clair. With this match here, another not a very solid match between Javon. And Javon, he looked good in this match. Javon looked very good. I know that at the end of the first round, there was no pinfalls. But Charlie Dempsey clearly had the experience over Javon Evans. I know in the third round, the young OG, Javon Evans, got him for the first pinfall. Then next thing you know, it seemed like, Javon Evans was getting, the advantage, the edge, but Tavion Heights, returning from the G1, I believe, a member of the No Quarter Catch crew, he attacked Javon Evans outside with a belly suplex. Then we know that after Dempsey and, Javon both had pinfall each, this will cause Charlie Dempsey to get the pinfall with the return of Tavion Heights attacking Javon. And winner is still NXT Heritage Cup champion. Yes, Charlie Dempsey still holds that cup. Congratulations to Charlie Dempsey on retaining that despite the help from his no catch quarter crew stablemate Tavion. We know he helped him out. Let's get on to the next match on the card. We had Obai Femi, and we was trying to figure out who's going to be a surprise opponent, and it was Hammerstone. And as you see, Obai Femi retained, he won, and the family looks on. They were not pleased, especially Tony D. He paid Hammerstone all that money. Many people thought it was Moose. Some people thought it was Hammerstone. I thought it was Moose personally, but it was Hammerstone. Hammerstone was the powerhouse from TNA. If you're familiar with Hammerstone, Hammerstone is TNA, big guy, but Obai Family defeated him. And I don't think it was not for the NXT North American Championship, not a title match. Let you guys know, but that was the end of that matchup. And next thing you know, we had a few other matches on the card. Nothing too shabby. Before we get into the later matches, we had two championship matches. I mean, two matches after this. After two matches before the two main matches. But other than that, we did have Ridge Holland versus Duke Hudson. And we noticed the whole Chase U, Duke Hudson standing up for Andre Chase. Ridge Holland, we know he turned on Chase U and took Andre Chase out at NXT No Mercy following a loss, losing the NXT Tag Team Championships back to Axiom Nathan Frazer, who are now two-time champions. Duke Hudson and Ridge Holland had a match. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I was not invested in this match so much. It was kind of a boring match, kind of a doozy. But, I understand the story they're trying to tell. Ridge Holland, long story short, he defeated Duke Hudson. And Thea Hale looked all sad, heartbreaking, because Ridge Holland got that work from Duke Hudson after the match. And that was it as far as that goes. But now let's head off into another match. We got the NXT Tag Team, NXT Knockouts champion. Jordan Grace had an open challenge for a championship as announced. She's been doing a lot of these open challenges lately. I know she did several on TNA Impact that come on Thursday nights. She already defeated Ariana Grace, Carmen Petrovic, Tatum Paxley, and Izzy Dane. Then she defeated 4 women from NXT roster. But this time, the surprise was Soruka. And I got to admit, Soruka looked very good in this match. Looked good. She made it very believable at some point that maybe she could defeat Jordan Grace. Maybe she could become the TNA Knockouts champion. You never know what the case may be. You never know. But other than that, at the end of the day, we know that Jordan came out on top. We know that Jordan is still the TNA Knockout champion. But Soruka definitely has some good spots in the match. I know that Soruka, she was giving it to Jordan Grace. She has some good moves in there. But we know after the match, things did not end too well for Miss Jordan Grace, because I know after the match, Jordan Grace, she was attacked. She was attacked after the match. Did not look too good for her. Didn't know what the next move's going to be. But we know that Jordan's not going to just take that lying down. And what do I mean by that? In this particular, after the match was over, Jordan Grace did. Matter of fact, Jordan Grace still champion, but it was a disqualification. Was no pinfall. And the reason it was no disqualification in this particular matchup between Soruka and Jordan, she was attacked afterwards. She was actually choked out by 2 individuals, and that was Wendy Chu and Rosemary for TNA. They got a partnership going on. It seemed like these two are in sync, and they did everything they could. They have an agenda against Jordan Grace. So I just looked earlier that Wendy Chu is going to be challenging Jordan Grace for that TNA Knockouts Championship. That's why it was set up the way it was. Just saying. But she did take Jordan out. Definitely took her out. It was these two that gave that work. Lily gave that work to Jordan. But definitely it was something different. Was not expecting Soruka, but Soruka did look impressive. I got to give that to her. She did look impressive. Did everything she could to win, but we know it ended in DQ, and it made Soruka look very, very strong. I will say that, because I will say also that this is not going to be over between the whole, Jordan, the Wendy Chu and everything else. That is not going to be over with, not by a long shot. I will say that. You better think again. Jordan Grace, she don't play that. Definitely don't play that. So, but it was a good finish, And this is Rosemary. This where Jordan was attacked. They took her out, and it took two to take the knockout women's champion down. Definitely took a lot. Other than that, though, that is the finish of that match. Like I said, I'm trying to see when that champion's going to be defended, but Wendy Chu is going to challenge Jordan for that title. That will be as one thing I do see happening, because it's already been announced earlier. It's supposed to be some event that TNA has. I don't know which one it is necessarily, but they do have that. They do have that coming up. But expect Rosemary to try to get involved in that match too. But I know a lot of women are challenging Jordan for that title. Definitely doing that. So only time will tell what's going to happen. And I'm loving the TNA WWE NXT partnership. It's just getting better and better. Way better. I think it's a better partnership than it was with AEW. But that's my opinion on that particular thing. You guys can think otherwise. Other than that, let's get on to the main event. That's in the finish of the Knockouts Open Challenge for the title. We got another one contendership match. We got Trick Williams versus Pete Dunne. Another banger. And Pete Dunne was getting a lot of offense. Trick Williams did what he could. But I know it was a good spot in this match. Trick Williams, he's starting to get a little bit better. I'm seeing a starting of a development. Maybe just me. I'm starting to see it a little bit. But we know that Pete Dunne did his thing. It's still, Trick has still got some developmental to do, but I think Trick has what it takes to get there. That's why he's on NXT's developmental program. But anyway, the pacing of the last man standing match was up. Now this match, I don't think it was the best match of the night. It could have been better. There were certain parts in the match I was confused. Like when Trick was down, the ref was doing a fast count. It was kind of 1, 2, 3, and then when it was Pete, it was slow count. I'm confused there. But the highlight was when Pete Dunne did the Russian last week on top of the fans, and he came down, crashed on the table. That was a great spot in that match. If you guys remember this in the main event, definitely was good.
Yeah! Oh, God! Wow!
So that was the big spot in the match. Very big spot between those two. It was like, whoa. But I like the spot. I'm not taking away from that. Definitely like the spot between those guys. But Ethan Page got involved. He got involved in the match. Not physically, but he definitely was trying to get Pete Dunne to get up in the match. He tried to get him to get up. Did everything he could to get him up in the air. But the thing about it was, with this particular thing, Ethan Page did not touch nobody. But he did not really want to face Trick Williams. Let's call it what it is. He didn't want to face him. He did not want to go against him one-on-one for the title. He didn't want to go through that again. So he wanted to make sure he could face Pete Dunne, because he already know what Trick's capable of, as he never beat Trick one-on-one. Also, the announcer was just pressuring, like, can you beat Trick? And he said he could beat him. But this was the turning point of the match, what caused the win for Trick. And I will get to this later in the bonus round. No doubt about it. And this was crazy how this finish ended, because Pete Dunne, he just did the Russian leg sweep. Both were down, but it came down to this.
Trick trying to get to his feet. Pete!
As you see there, Trick Williams won the last man standing match, and he is going to go on to face Ethan Page one-on-one October 1st CW debut for the NXT Championship. I will touch more on this match because there's more to the story. There's more to the story. If you guys don't know or you do know, I will get to that. With that being said, that was the end of NXT. Now, NXT, considering everything done at NXT, you know, they had all the segments, all the matches, everything. We had, 2 matches? We had one for the, it wasn't an NXT title, an NXT branded championship. It was Jordynne Grace TNA Knockouts Championship, the NXT Tag Team Championship. You know, we had 2 people from TNA on this episode. Jordynne Grace, the champion, the Knockouts champion, Hammerstone. We had both of those people there. This is Hammerstone here, if you guys remember. We had him there as well, but we also had a great opening match for the tag team titles and a last man standing match for number 1 contendership. So with my rating, depending on what I've seen, I give it a 4 out of 5. Solid show. Some matches were all there, but the story and segments between a good fluctuation of a great opening of the show, opening match, and of course the closing of the show with a closing match. So great job on NXT end. We only got 3 more NXTs left, I believe, until it goes to CW. And this is listed in WWE week. We know it's SmackDown, NXT, and Raw all on USA Network. SmackDown just had their last SmackDown on Fox last Friday. Now they're gonna be coming back to USA Network this Friday for a 3-hour episode. 3 hours only for this week. And then Raw was the night before NXT. Other than that, though, 4 out of 5 I get the show. But of course, before we do get to the bonus round, let's go over what went wrong with NXT. What were the issues I saw on the show? Like I said, I covered this, whether it's a high rating or a low rating. There's always room for improvement. So let's get into that shortly. These are the issues that I had. Okay. One part of the match, Hammerstone, if you guys follow TNA, from what I've heard, he's like a big powerhouse on TNA, but he looked very weak compared to Obafemi. Now, I know Obafemi, he is the NXT North American champion, the holding the secondary championship right after the NXT title. I know that Obafemi's undefeated. I get all of that. But this Hammerstone everyone kept talking about, he didn't look that strong there. He didn't look too strong, looked kind of weak there. So I don't know what the whole deal is with that. But and then the match was not that good. Out of all the matches I've seen for Obafemi, this is probably one of the weakest matches I've seen of him. So, and Obafemi, I know he's still learning. And Obafemi's a great athlete, great NXT North American champion. But this is not the best match I've seen. Probably one of the worst matches, But nobody's perfect. Things happen. But I don't know much about Hammerstone, but I heard he's a big powerhouse. He just looks very weak in character compared to Obafemi. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he's weak as a whole. It's just that particular match, he didn't look strong like he should. It seemed like more like a squash type of match, the way I see it. And of course, you already know if I don't see something I don't like, I gotta put it on only one list.
What's gonna happen? No. Words? No. You just made the list.
So that's one of the things I saw went wrong with this current episode of NXT. But like I said, that's just one spot there. We'll see what else happened next. Now, another thing I saw wrong. We're gonna talk about this now. Trick. Now we saw the Trick, the ending, the main event for NXT. We saw that. Now we know that Trick Williams, he was Was considered the last man standing after the spot with Ethan Page and everything. We get that. No doubt about it. My issue with this is it had us thinking that it was going to be a one-on-one since he was advertised as the winner. At least that's how they put it. They placed it that Trick won the match. Trick is going to face Ethan Page for that title. That's what we saw at the end of NXT as the episode was over. That's what we saw at first. At least that's how I saw it. So my question is, if that's how we saw originally, if it's Trick Williams versus Ethan Page, October 1st. Like I said, I try to stay up to date with everything as far as WWE goes, and the shows especially. This is what I can't wrap my head around. Number one, they didn't like the finish. Like I said, if Pete Dunne, like I said, he did the Russian leg sweep, how did Trick get to his feet before Pete? Or you could say, I know people say, well, that move took a lot more out of Pete than it did Trick because he did the move. That could be said too, but in reality, selling wise, Trick would be out a lot longer. So if Trick won the match, why do next week we have a contract signing for Ethan Page, Trick Williams, and Pete Dunne? So it seems like now the results have been reversed. We do not get Trick versus Ethan Page October 1st. Now this becomes a triple threat. Why did you guys sell that Trick won the match on NXT, and now we're running with it's going to be a triple threat? So Pete Dunne is going to be included in this whole NXT Championship picture October 1st because he's going to be a part of contract signing. So I'm confused here. I'm really confused. This don't make no sense. This don't make no sense because we was here first. Trick had won, but now if you look on the screen, it's NXT Championship contract signing. So Trick, it seemed like the match ended in the draw because I'm confused. That was wrong. That's where I see what was wrong with this whole thing. You guys had us sold that Trick won, but he really didn't. It seemed like it was a draw between Pete Dunne and Trick Williams. Because why are they both inserted in NXT Championship contract signing? If Pete Dunne's there, that means Pete Dunne did not lose. So it's a draw, and it should have been declared that in the first place. The point I'm making is when Pete Dunne did the spot off the Russian leg sweep onto the table from the crowds, from the top, neither man should have got up. I don't know if Trick botched that finish. He was supposed to get up with Ethan Page. They both should have been on the ground. Trick and Pete, neither one of them should have got up. Now, Ethan Page could still did what he did, stand there, look on, but neither Trick or Pete supposed to get up. I don't know if Trick botched that spot or not, that he was supposed to get up and flip Ethan Page over, over the table. But that's confusing, and that confuses a lot of us, especially ones who were definitely invested in NXT last time. I'm just confused. We go from Trick winning to now a triple threat. So now this definitely, without a shot of a doubt, goes on the list.
What's gonna happen? No. Words? No. You just made the list.
So I didn't get that at all. That confuses things, and it ruins the finish of the match. That's all I'm saying. I don't like that at all. That's a major thing I saw in NXT last night was the finish. Then one more thing I saw last night, it's about Chase U. Why does everyone turn on Chase U? And then when they do turn on Chase U, the feuds are not that great. They're subpar. And what do I mean by that? Remember earlier this year, Jessie Jane was aligned. She was with Chase U. You know, the whole story with Andre Chase went to bankrupt with Chase U and JC Jane and Thea Hill sold those calendars. I think late last year, early this year, January, that she got them out of debt and they made a lot of money off the calendars. And later, JC Jane turned on Thea. She tried to change Thea, manipulate her. But there was really no one-on-one feud between JC and Thea. It was more of a 6-woman tag. Thea teamed up with two other girls, and JC Jane is an introduction of Jasmine Nix, and she teamed with her another girl at NXT Stand Deliver. That way didn't go nowhere. And now we got Ridge Holland, who recently just turned on Chase U at NXT No Mercy. He took out Andre Chase, and now he took out Dick Hudson. But this feud's not doing nothing either. So it seems like these feuds don't be what it should be. Chase U was very popular in NXT. With that being said, that goes on the list as well. I don't see where to go with the whole Chase U. People turn on them. So that goes on the list most definitely.
What's gonna happen? No. Words? No. You just made the list.
So that goes on the list. Nadia, salute to you. You said, I saw this NXT. I heard that the Bloodline was in NXT and the Street Profits returned since 2 years. Yes, that was the opening match for the NXT Tag Team Championship match. Street Profits replaced the Rascalz. Trey Miguel had an injury, whatever injury it was, and then Bloodline came and just wreaked havoc, and they attacked everybody to cause the match to end in DQ. But definitely a great opener. Now, with that being said, those are things I saw wrong with NXT. Those were the main things I saw that were issues. But let's go over next week's matchups. We do have next week match. There are a lot of stuff that was announced for next week. So next week they got a lot of stuff going on and a lot of announcements there. So let's get to that in a second before we get to the bonus round. Let's look over the card, shall we? There's some of the stuff that's announced for next week. We got Lyra Valkyria. She will come back to NXT again. We're going to see her. We're going to see her team up with Tatum Paxley, the good dynamic duo, versus TNA, Rosemary. She will be back with Wendy Chu. They will have a tag team match. So we're gonna see how that go between those four. I don't know if it's gonna be an opener or not. Maybe an opener, maybe not. Then we have Adonis versus Eddie Thorpe. And we also have Javon Evans. Seems like it's him and Cedric Alexander versus member of No Catch Quarter Crew, Miles and Taviar Heights. So that's going to be a match. And also, we got some more stuff going on. Remember, CM Punk, he is going to be on NXT next week. He has a special announcement to make, whatever that announcement may be. And then, of course, as I stated earlier, there will be an NXT Championship contract signing. It will be Trick, Ethan Page, and Pete Dunne. And then also we have a one-on-one match. I already explained Lyra and Tatum teaming up. But we do have Lola Vice going one-on-one against Fatal Influence member JC Jane. They're going to have a one-on-one match. And that's all the matches that are for next week for NXT. A lot of stuff going on, as you can see. A lot of stuff going on. So, that being said, though, let's get into the bonus round, shall we? And we know the bonus round is going to be about Trick Williams. Will he capture the NXT Championship again? Give me a few moments and let's get that started. And we're going to continue on here. Let's get that going. Let's get right. End of bonus, the first round, NXT, WWE NXT The Bloodline rules tag team title match invasion. You guys let me know in the live chat and the playback comments what you think of this NXT episode. We're going to head to the bonus round now, and we're only going to be here probably YouTube only. We'll be off for X and Facebook. But let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Let's get that going. All right, we're here at the bonus round. We're talking about Trick Williams. Will Trick Williams win October 1st versus Ethan Page for NXT Championship? Now, I know that it's supposed to be Pete Dunne included as well. I'm not forgetting about that. But this was the original match, and I still believe, despite the whole Pete Dunne being involved, I still see Trick Williams being a major influence on the NXT title picture. Let's get into that. And also, before we begin, let's do that one simple thing before we do that, guys. If you haven't already, give you guys a reminder. Let's double tap that screen one more time.
Welcome to the button, the speed.
Who acts like a sucker? Oh boy, more spinning. What's it gonna be? Uh-oh. What?
All right. So, with Trick Williams, this is going to be him versus Ethan and Pete Dunne. That's what seems like where it's going. But despite that, I still see a big difference. And what I'm going to say is Trick Williams' popularity is still somewhat high. I don't think it was as before, but I still see him being a major player in the NXT Championship picture. The reason I said it because he's big, he's tall, he's 6'4", got a good build, very over with the audience. Not as much as he used to, still over. It seemed like he simmered down a little bit. You know, he's developing on his move set. He's getting better in the ring. He's trying. You can see the effort there for Trick Williams. You know, definitely for where he was before. But I definitely see some development there. Definitely see that. But now, I'm just confused. What you say, Nadia? Pete Dunne would be the special guest referee? Okay. That seems confusing. Now, did that say that in there? Now, when we see that there, before I do get further, since you brought that up, Nadia, why they kept saying, or Pete Dunne? Well, okay, that makes sense then. But they had that for next Tuesday advertised. This is a little bit it's confusing, like I said before. But like I said, despite that, if that was the case, Trick Williams, thanks for clearing that up, by the way, Nadia. Appreciate that. So he's going to be special guest referee. That's going to be interesting. Makes it even more better. But will he defeat him for the title? And think about it is, Trick is still over. His popularity, like I said, is still high. And I think that if he has the right development as a character and the right build and everything, he still could be over with the crowd. So thing about it is, October 1st, it comes down to that. We're going to see that. Now, if Trick becomes a two-time NXT champion, I would say his character needs a change. I like Trick Williams as NXT champion, but since he already had a first run, it wasn't the best run. You know, kind of got thrown in there real quick with the title. Remember, it wasn't too long before he won his title that he was the NXT North American champion. And he only held that for 2 days. But now he did win his title. I don't think he had the run he should have had. Because I will say he never lost the belt. He never lost the belt. He never was pinned or submitted. So I knew there's a way he's going to come back. And like I said before, Trick Williams is a big part of the NXT division, men's division, that is. But I will say this, I do see Trick regaining the championship. I do see that. I see him being champion once again. And that's exactly what I think is going to happen at the October 1st episode. That's what I think it'll do. But I will say he needs to change because I see him definitely regaining the title. Now, since I do see him regaining the title and he needs to change, I would say Trick Williams needs to be heel. Because this time with Trick, his look, his image, he needs to be an NXT champion, but as a heel, not a babyface. So that's how I would do it. I think heel would be perfect for him. I think he'll get over. I think he'll be solid, but he has to be a heel. He cannot be a babyface. That's right, Trills. I think Trick Willie needs to be a heel. He already been NXT champion as a babyface. We already saw that run. Because when it comes to October 1st for this title, we need to see Trick win, and maybe it could be a double turn. Maybe Trick becomes heel and Ethan Page turns to a babyface. All ego, people would cheer for him. And when he does win and become a full-fledged heel, he could kiss that champ just like a heel. He could act like a heel. I mean, let's get a double turn at the October 1st episode. We want to see Trick dominate as champion, and I think he has what it takes to do that. He could be definitely a very good heel, and a heel would definitely help him with his character, his development, his overall character. I think this is one of the big things he's missing. So I think Trick has almost everything what it takes, not just become NXT champion, but potentially take it to the top of NXT. And I think with him being a heel and winning the title again as a heel, he'll be similar to Roxanne Perez. Remember Roxanne Perez, her first run with the NXT Women's title, she was a babyface. It was not the best run. Now she ended up losing her title due to her passing out, and she won it again at NXT Stand and Deliver. She turned heel, and look at the run she's having now. I think the same could be said for Trick. He wins the title, CW debut. He turns heel in the process, double turn with Ethan Page. All ego turns babyface. He turns heel. He has a dominant run. It could possibly be one of the best NXT championship runs in a long time. In a minute. Best runs in a minute. So I think that can work. I think he should be a heel. Because Trick definitely is over. He definitely has everything going for him well. Especially, I saw with that diss song he had on Pete Dunne. I said, when I saw that song he just did, if you guys remember last week, I said, this has heel written all over Trick Williams. He needs to be a heel. And if you agree, give me a yeet.
Yeet.
Yeah, he is a heel. And remember, he was a heel with Carmelo Hayes. When he was a sidekick to Carmelo, they were heels and they dominated. They did that thing. You know, let's talk about it like Trick normally say. But, you know, Figure 4 said make the name switch and turn them heel. Yeah, Trills, yes. King Groove, salute to you. Thanks for coming out, man. Nadia said, I kind of like him as a heel, but I think he'll be a good heel with NXT. I think NXT will pay more of a heel. Yeah, he needs to be a heel champion because I did not like him as a babyface champion. I think he's better off as a heel. He's 6'4", like I said before. This guy's a heel, not a babyface. Some guys I can understand, but not Trick. Definitely. Yeet. But yeah, Trick, I think he wins his title. He defeats Ethan Page. What he can do in his finish, October 1st, he can low blow Ethan Page. He can hit it with a weapon. He can do something that illegal in the match, and the ref don't see it when they get knocked out. And the crowd would not expect that because the crowd was so much behind Trick Williams as a babyface. Whoop that Trick. He really is going to whoop him, and then he's going to come out with the championship. But this would be a great way to put over Trick as a heel. I think it'd be great. And if he does great and he's booked well after he wins the championship, he can have a memorable NXT championship run. He'd be somewhat like Roxanne Perez. I don't see why they need to go that route. Because I don't want to see another Trick Williams winning the title as a clean-cut baby face and to whoop the Trick. He got to be, you could even tweak his theme song to whoop the Trick. Maybe. Just maybe. And I think that would be great. Just double turn him. And make him a dominant champ that I know he can be. It's not bad as a babyface, but I think he'll be better. Yeah, he's better as a heel. We saw him as a heel when he was with Carmelo. When he first got in NXT a few years ago. A double turn, Oba goes face while Trick go heel. That's a good idea too. and Oba could lose his title, go babyface, and he could actually challenge Trick for the NXT Championship and may be the one to defeat Trick Williams for his NXT Championship. I don't see why not. I hope you didn't turn into another MVP or something, but they try to put on a back burner. Yeah. But I will say that Trick Williams needs to be a heel. He needs to be a heel champion. I don't see why they can't go that route. I think it'd be the best option for Trick. I think it'd be the best option for his character development change. I think it'd be best for the NXT brand. Because like I said this last week, anytime WWE program, whether it's Raw, NXT or SmackDown, especially with all three networks changing networks this year and next year, they always want to bring a big feeling to a championship match, whether it's the World Heavyweight Championship, the WWE Championship, or the NXT Championship, whatever. They want some type of finish that people will remember. If we get this match, SCW and Ethan Page retains, no one's going to be really remembering that. But if we remember Trick Williams winning and regaining the title, and he regains it, but he does it as a bad guy, people are going to talk about that forever. Remember, they're going to remember the first episode of NXT on CW, and Trick Williams win the match as a heel. He turns evil. He does dirty stuff, and he's a heel. And crowd will boo him. They will be all over that. They will boo Trick. They will get mad, but he will get so much heat, and it will be great for Trick. Nadia said, I actually would like to see Oba at me as a heel. As long as he's the NXT, yeah, he'll be fine. NXT don't have many heels. Yeah, Trick should be one of them. And I think Oba Fame would be a good heel. Oba Fame is a good heel, but he been doing this for most of the year. He's undefeated. Whenever his streak is broken, his undefeated streak, maybe he should go babyface. But that's a long time. That's a while from now. We're just long term. We're doing long term booking here. But Trick, him getting over as a heel, I can see him win his title back. He will win his title back. Trick will win his title back, and he could just go off. He could cut a promo the next episode. You guys kept saying, whoop that Trick. I don't think you were behind me. I did what I wanted to do. I want to be Trick Willie, and now I'm doing it just for me, and I'm not doing it for the fans no more. That could be very well great to say. But yeah. That's true. Oba Femi is running out of heel opponents. He is. Nadia said, who do you think is underrated or overrated in NXT, in your opinion? Tatum Paxley is underrated. She's very solid. After what I saw in NXT and Impact, I will say that. She's underrated. I think I'm trying to think who is. Yeah, I would say Tam Paxley is the most underrated. Overrated, I can't think off the top of my head, but Tam Paxley is very solid. Her character is similar. It's a dark character, but she's very underrated. But yeah, Trick Williams, man, he needs to go ahead and stop playing around. He needs to be a heel, and we need to see him win championship at NXT October 1st and CW in Chicago. And that's all I have regarding bonus round with Trick Willie win October 1st versus Ethan Page for NXT Championship. I believe he has what it takes. Not as a babyface, but I want to see him as a heel. I appreciate you guys coming out. Talk about NXT's a little late one here, but we definitely stay tuned. We'll, AW Dynamite's tonight, unfortunately. I will compare the numbers, NXT viewership versus AW Dynamite viewership. It will either be tomorrow or Friday, but definitely will keep you guys in tune. You said I think Ethan Page is like a little overrated. I think underrated Trick. Yeah, Ethan is a little overrated. That's true. Especially when they threw the belt on him so quick. But his character is one thing keeping him over. We've seen that character a lot. But I like Ethan Page though as a whole. Is he the top of NXT? But he's okay. I remember watching AEW. But other than that, though, that's all I have regarding that. You guys let me know in the live chat and playback and comment section below what you think of the bonus round. Of course, the recent episode of NXT. I will get those, like I said, compare the viewership of both shows, and we will talk about those shows, AEW Dynamite and NXT. Soon to be able to pop up. You guys click those below. You guys already know what it is at this point. It is OUNT.
Something happened this weekend, and I've been struggling with it since I retired. But this weekend gave me closure.
Wow.
It really did. Like, it was fun. Obviously, it was fun. I mean, you can't, doing this for as long as I have and being involved.